A woman named Alma arrived at a restaurant where a company employee met her and asked to follow. She led her to one of the tables. A handsome man named Tom was waiting for them here. He immediately started flirting with Alma and offered her a seat. Alma was confused, while Tom ordered wine and showered the woman with compliments. Suddenly Alma asked Tom if he believed in God. Tom replied that this was not the most suitable place for such discussions. Alma started asking Tom various questions, to which he answered without error. The guy could even instantly multiply 3-digit numbers in his mind. To lighten the mood, Tom asked Alma to dance. The company employee advised bewildered Alma to take this opportunity. Tom really danced well, as if he was made for it. Suddenly Tom began to repeat the same phrase over and over again, like a glitching computer. He was taken out of the hall. The company employee called Alma over and assured her that such glitches in this model are extremely rare. The woman promised that their engineers would have Tom fixed by tomorrow evening. Alma said there were no problems. The woman in turn explained that programming androids to flirt is a difficult task. Everything must be thought out to the smallest detail, otherwise it will look unconvincing. Alma is to test Tom for 3 weeks, like the other participants in the study. All this was happening in the company's office. The employee asked Alma to come tomorrow and pick up Tom, who by that time will be fully ready. After that, Alma rushed to work, announcing to her colleagues that she would be absent tomorrow. Later, Alma told Dean Roger about the project she was participating in. The company constantly scans her and studies her comprehensively to improve their robots. Alma is not ready for this. However, Roger reminded her of how important this is. He is invited to the ethics committee, so he needs Alma's conclusion about these androids and whether they can be released into society. As Alma was about to leave, her ex-husband Julian approached her. He clearly still loves Alma and invited her for coffee, but she politely declined. Alma can't stop thinking about whether it's right to make androids full members of society and allow them to marry humans. At night, Alma does her scientific work in anthropology, and in the morning she visited her father, who suffers from dementia. He is already beginning to forget his daughters and grandson. The man did not want to leave the house, but the daughter took him for a walk anyway. At the appointed time, Alma came to the company's office and saw 2 holograms communicating with each other. There were many holograms and androids here in general. It was time to take Tom home. The employee advised Alma to come up with a story of her shared past with Tom, because without it, as is known, there is no future. Alma helped Tom put his things into the trunk of the car. She clearly feels very uncomfortable in his company. Sometimes Tom communicates like a computer, capable of analyzing everything he sees and hears. Alma showed Tom her apartment. He was interested in a painting on the wall. Also, Tom did not forget to constantly compliment Alma. He was very surprised to learn that they would live in separate rooms. Alma had made it clear that she didn't want the android's courtship. Leaving Tom in his room, Alma tried to do her research, but could not concentrate. The android, of course, was also awake. In the morning, Alma was surprised to see that Tom had made her a tasty breakfast for her and tidied up the apartment. Alma is not used to such perfect order, and now it will be difficult for her to find things she needed. Tom said it would take him 11 minutes to get everything back to the way it was. He really did it, and with unnatural speed. Alma didn't have time for breakfast because she was running late. Tom again showers her with compliments and declarations of love. Alma admitted that she is not interested in relationships and love, she is just one of those who will test the androids and write a conclusion for the commission. Tom wanted to keep Alma company at work. She was not thrilled with this idea, but decided that leaving him alone in her apartment was even more risky. Alma told Tom to take a walk, and she went to work. He meanwhile went into a cafe and ordered coffee, trying to behave naturally. However, the surroundings still noticed something strange about him. Tom is trying to understand what it means to be human. He thinks that people have a rather cruel sense of humor, laughing at the failures of others. Alma got held up at work, but Tom, despite the rain, waited for her all this time. At home, Alma gave him a second set of keys so he wouldn't have to get wet in the rain again. She did not expect Tom to arrange a romantic evening for her and suggest relaxing. However, Alma is not interested in this. Later, Tom advised her to be more open towards him. According to Tom, this would make her happier. But Alma does not equate androids with humans, because they do not have a soul. In the morning, Julian came unannounced, going to pick up his painting. Tom politely invited him for a cup of coffee. Alma lied to Julian that Tom is her colleague. She can't tell the truth because there is a non-disclosure clause in the contract. Tom very convincingly played his role, saying that he met Alma at an anthropologist's conference in Copenhagen. Julian clearly felt jealousy and wanted to leave as soon as possible. Since the painting is large, Tom offered to help Julian. He in turn invited Tom and Alma to a housewarming party. It turned out that Julian had moved in with some woman. The next day, Alma took Tom to work with her, introducing him to the rest as a colleague from London who studies cuneiform. One of the staff members gave Tom a tour, familiarizing him with samples from around the world. Tom could accurately guess which tribes these plaques belonged to and their age. Suddenly Tom asked Alma for a private conversation. He said that he had been examining one of the plaques, and after analyzing all the information available online, he found out that there was a similar scientific work available on the university server. Alma immediately checked this information. It turned out that Tom was right. Barely holding back her emotions, Alma went outside, cried, and lit a cigarette. Tom followed her and asked why she was so upset. Alma in tears said that she had been working on this for 3 years, but another scientist had beaten her to the publication. Tom considered Alma's tears to be tears of selfishness, as she was thinking primarily about her career, not about what is important for all of humanity. Alma had no other choice but to tell her colleagues the truth. Later, she went to a bar to get drunk. Of course Tom accompanied her and tried to dissuade her from this reckless act. However, all Alma wanted was to forget. Walking home, she could barely stand, but she refused help from Tom. Alma also started telling the android that he was too perfect, and this was his main difference from a human. Alma didn't stop and continued drinking, trying to anger Tom to provoke some kind of emotion. His reaction was quite unpredictable. Tom was clearly not prepared for such a situation. Suddenly Alma began to flirt with Tom, wishing to pretend for a while that he was human. She is not interested in the banal romance that androids are programmed for. Instead, Alma wants to see simple human emotions. To her surprise, Tom said that he was not in the mood to have fun today because it was not the right time. Despite Alma's pleas to stay with her, he simply left the room. In the morning, Alma suffered from a hangover. Tom didn't even clean up the apartment. Alma knocked on his room, but he was not there. This made her worry. Only now did she see their joint fake photo. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. It was the company employee. Tom soon arrived, bringing cookies. The employee is interested in how they feel after 2 days and 2 nights of testing. Alma said that these androids are indeed very innovative. However, the employee noticed that Alma does not treat Tom as a human. But Alma didn't find this strange, because Tom is not a human. At some point, Alma suspected that the employee was also a robot. This outraged Alma. She said that she did not intend to discuss the research with an android. Later, Alma apologized to Tom for last night. Tom in turn offered her to look for a new topic for scientific work right now, but Alma wants to forget about it for at least 1 day. They visited Alma's father, who had a birthday today. Her sister Cora and nephew were already here. Tom was interested in the family photos on the wall. At some point, the nephew noticed the man, but Alma objected, saying that it was actually a robot. Cora found Tom very pleasant and sweet. He was able to keep up any conversation. Cora remembered old pictures of them with a boy named Thomas. Both sisters were in love with him in their childhood. Cora decided that this man was Thomas. Later, Alma and Tom were taking a walk in the woods. Alma confessed that she missed her mother, who had passed away a long time ago. Lying on the grass, they made up a story of their acquaintance in Copenhagen. It seemed that this past was indeed real. At least, Alma wanted to think so. Suddenly she showed Tom a photo of her with that boy. Alma dozed off for a while, and when she woke up, she didn't find Tom next to her and went to look for him. At that time, he was watching animals in the forest. Seeing this, Alma had contradictory feelings. Tom was indeed becoming more and more like a human. However, the deer seemed not to notice Tom because he does not have a natural smell. Alma and Tom decided to run barefoot through the meadow, enjoying these moments. Then they went to Julian's housewarming party and met his girlfriend Steffi. Some find it strange that Julian suddenly married some woman. Suddenly Steffi fainted. Tom immediately began to give her first aid. Later, everyone congratulated the couple on the housewarming. Seeing Tom, Dr. Roger was amazed. The android really is indistinguishable from a human. Dr. Roger began to study Tom unceremoniously, but Alma asked her colleague to be more tactful. She almost stopped seeing the difference between an android and a human. While Tom and Roger were talking, Alma asked Julian for a private conversation. When they went into the room, Alma asked directly if Steffi was pregnant. He confirmed this. Earlier, Alma and Julian also tried to have a baby, but unsuccessfully. Now Tom drives the car instead of Alma. At home, she told him that there are some things a machine can't comprehend. This proves how huge the gap is between humans and androids. One of these things is motherhood and fatherhood. Alma always wanted to become a mother, but she couldn't. Now Julian, unlike her, will have a full-fledged family. Tom assured that he fully shares these feelings and loves her. Alma, in distressed feelings, left the house. When Tom followed her, she hid and then went after him. Tom was looking for Alma everywhere, while she was behind him all this time. Eventually he came to her office building and started looking at the ancient sculptures. Tom was able to enter because he had thoughtfully taken Alma's spare pass. Hearing some noises, they hid together. Alma hugged Tom, who knew exactly where to look for her. They kissed, and then it turned into passion. In the morning at home, Alma woke up earlier and made breakfast herself. At some point she almost cried, realizing that this was madness. When Tom woke up, Alma told him that nothing would work out between them. Deep down, she knows that Tom's care and love are just an imitation. In reality, he doesn't care about her at all. Not wanting to live in pretense, Alma decided to end the experiment prematurely. Packing his things, Tom was about to leave. He admitted that when he returns to the factory, his program will be erased. Alma hugged him in tears. She feels attached to Tom and doesn't want his program to be erased, but also Alma understands that Tom is just a robot, incapable of feeling. She watched from the window for a long time as Tom was leaving. At some point, Alma was ready to run after him, but she lost sight of him. Soon seeing a conflict on the road between two men, Alma came to realize how imperfect humans are. Noticing her father walking alone in the forest, Alma was scared. The man's dementia is progressing. It turned out that robbers had broken into his house. Alma doesn't understand how people can be so cruel. Cora was no less horrified by what had happened. Soon Alma returned to her usual life. However, she couldn't stop thinking about Tom. One day Dr. Stuber, one of Alma's old acquaintances, introduced her to his perfect girlfriend Chloe, who of course was an android. The man was very happy, as he had never been successful with women due to his unattractive appearance. Soon Alma was ready to send Roger the promised review of her experience interacting with the android. In Alma's opinion, a relationship with a robot is nothing more than self-deception. Alma was puzzled when she learned that Tom had not returned to the factory. The woman realized that he had gone to the village where she grew up and where Thomas lives, whom she once loved. Alma indeed found Tom here. He knew that sooner or later she would come for him. Maybe this is what love is. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.